Every day at a busy Delhi traffic signal, a pregnant woman smiled at a little boy selling balloons. She thought he was just another poor street child. But one day when tragedy struck, she discovered the unthinkable truth. That boy was her own lost son. Friends, this is the heart-touching story of a mother and her lost son. Every morning, a woman named Anchal would sit in the car with her husband, Pawan, as they drove from their home near Badarpur border to Pawan's computer shop in Nehru Place. Their life was comfortable and steady. But almost every day, as soon as their car stopped at a traffic signal, groups of poor children and beggars would surround the car, some wiping windshields, some selling roses, some pleading for coins. Among those children was one particular boy, innocent, cheerful, and very different from the rest. Sometimes he sold balloons, sometimes pens, sometimes small roses. His name was Deepu, and he was only 10 or 11 years old. One morning, Deepu came running to their car, clutching a bunch of balloons. With a wide smile, he said, "Ma'am, please buy one. Give it to your child." Anchal looked at him kindly and smiled back. "But my child hasn't even arrived in this world yet. By the time he comes, these balloons will burst." She was 6 months pregnant at the time. But the boy replied innocently, "If you don't let go of it, ma'am, it won't burst." His sweet words touched her heart. She bought 2 balloons, and as the traffic light turned green, their car moved on. Days passed, and whenever they stopped at the same signal, Deepu would appear, sometimes selling pens, sometimes small toys. Anchal began to look forward to seeing him. His childlike innocence, his pure smile, his playful words, they slowly won her heart. She often bought something from him, even if she didn't need it, and would secretly slip an extra 100-rupee note into his hand. It was as if a silent bond had begun to form between the two. But one day, when their car stopped at the signal, Deepu was nowhere to be seen. Anchal's eyes kept searching for him, but only other children came rushing. She rolled down the window and asked, "Where is Deepu? Why hasn't he come today?" The other children looked at each other, and then one of them said softly, "Ma'am, Deepu met with an accident this morning. A car hit him when he was leaving his house. His condition is very bad." Anchal froze. Her eyes filled with tears.
"What? Where is he? Is he alive?"
The children shook their heads.
"We don't know if he will survive. His head was badly injured. He was taken home to Sangam Vihar."
Anchal's heart pounded. She turned to Pawan and begged,
"Please, drop me there. I must see him once."
Pawan hesitated. "Anchal, we're already late for the shop. The boys must be waiting to open it. You go if you want. I'll send you in an auto." Anchal insisted. She got down, took one of the street kids along to guide her, and rushed in an auto towards Sangam Vihar. When she reached the small, broken-down hut where Deepu lived, an old woman was sitting outside, weeping bitterly. The moment Anchal saw her, she froze in shock. She knew this woman. The old lady was none other than Deepu's grandmother. And in that instant, everything came crashing back. Years ago, before marrying Pawan, Anchal had fallen in love with a man named Deepak. She had married him against her family's wishes. From that marriage, a child was born, also named Deepak. But soon, her husband was killed in gang violence. Her family forced her to remarry, but only on the condition that she leave her child behind. Torn apart, with no strength left to fight, Anchal had left her son in the care of his grandparents. That child was none other than Deepu. When she realized the truth, Anchal's cries shook the walls.
My son, my own son. For 8 years I didn't even know where he was, and now I find him like this?
The grandmother clutched her tightly, sobbing.
I couldn't save him. I couldn't protect him.
Anchal collapsed to the ground, wailing.
I didn't even recognize my own child. Every day he stood in front of me, selling balloons, selling pens, and I never knew he was mine. What a cursed mother I am.
Neighbors gathered, shocked to hear the truth. How could this well-dressed, educated lady be the mother of a boy who lived in rags and begged at traffic lights? But as the grandmother revealed the past, everyone understood.
Rushed to Safdarjung Hospital, Deepu lay unconscious in the ICU. Anchal didn't leave his side for days, praying, crying, begging God for mercy. And then miraculously, on the 3rd day, Deepu opened his eyes. His small, weak voice whispered, "Auntie, you came." Anchal held his hand, tears streaming down her face.
"No, my son. I am not your auntie. I am your mother." The boy looked at her, confused but too weak to speak. Doctors told her not to disturb him, but Anchal couldn't stop kissing his forehead, whispering, "You will live, my son. I will never leave you again." But outside the hospital, another storm awaited her. Pawan, her husband, had learned the truth, that Anchal had hidden her first marriage and abandoned a child. Angrily, he confronted her. "You deceived me. You lied to me all these years. From today, everything between us is finished." Anchal couldn't say a word. She lowered her head, silently weeping. She didn't care about her marriage anymore. All she wanted was to hold her son close. But fate had one last twist. A week later, Pawan, his mother, and his sister came to Sangam Vihar. Seeing Anchal caring for Deepu with her whole heart, they were moved. Pawan's mother placed her hand on Anchal's head and said, "Daughter, we made a mistake by separating you from your child. Bring him with you. Bring his grandmother too. No mother and child should be separated again." For the first time in years, Anchal felt whole. She hugged Deepu tightly, kissed his face again and again, and wept with relief. She returned home with her son, her husband, and her new family, together at last. Today, years later, Anchal and Pawan have 2 more children. Deepu goes to school, has friends, and finally lives the life he deserves, with his mother by his side. And this story leaves us with one powerful truth. No matter what happens in life, a child should never be separated from his mother.